What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from BucsGameday.com. We're here for an instant reaction to the Buccaneers' final preseason game of the season. They go 2-1 before the regular season. They take a loss here to the Buffalo Bills, 23-19. I think we got a few answers in here. We also saw Shiloh Sanders get ejected from this game. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. We're live. Make sure you throw in some comments or topics you'd like me to jump into. A lot of the starters, if not any of the starters, played in this game. As expected, Todd Bowles said he would not put any of them out there, even guys like Rashad White. But there were some plays being made. There were some guys, though, that also probably put themselves in a tough position to make this roster for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But overall, I would say there was some ugliness from the defensive side. I'll bring up the stats here in just a minute, but some missed tackles, some missed opportunities on the offensive side of the ball as well. We saw Kyle Trask start this game, and then we saw Bazelak take over the end of it as well. But I would say one of your shining guys, one of your wins, one of the things that you are happy about is Tez Johnson, the Oregon wide receiver, special teamer. He made some big-time plays also, including a touchdown. I know you guys probably saw the acrobatics at the end there. I don't know what you call that. We were trying to figure it out in the press box, but some kind of crazy move in the celebratory area, which was really nice. But he made a nice snag on the ball there inside of that end zone. He also had a 16-yard gain early in that game as well. He finished off, let's see, I got the stats on here. Sorry, guys, got a lot of noise in the background, but he finished the day 8 of 8, 58 yards and a touchdown. I believe and also too, Ryan Miller, they both solidified themselves on this roster moving forward in the wide receiver room. They needed help. They needed guys to step up in the wide receiver room, and I think you got that with Tez Johnson and also too Ryan Miller, someone that's very consistent and also has some good chemistry there with Baker Mayfield, QB1. Overall, though, just looking at some of the stats, like I was mentioning earlier, not the prettiest of the game, not a pretty game from the Bucs. Bucs passing 196 yards there. Bills passing, though, 270. The Bucs couldn't get anything in the run game. And I'll be honest with you, we saw it in training camp, some struggles there, mainly in the two deep at the offensive line position, definitely at your guards, even in your tackles as well. But they could not find any success in the run game tonight, only getting 45 yards. Then 105 yards on their end, so total offense of 241 for the Bucs compared to the Bills 375. Let's jump over to Shiloh Sanders because there is a comment here from Christopher Cole here from YouTube saying Shiloh wasn't even making the practice squad. So this was going to be a big-time game for him. Not only was he just trying to get to a roster spot, but even get to a practice squad spot. This put him in a pretty tough position now to make the roster after getting ejected. So he got into an altercation after the play on the opposite side of the field that I'm on and threw a punch. I believe the ref in the stadium said that it was because he swung a personal foul and he was fully ejected. You don't usually see that definitely in preseason games, but for the fact that it happened this way, Todd Bowles was not happy. Todd Bowles saw his reaction. We were able to see it here on the video board, but not a happy camper with Shiloh Sanders throwing a punch there and led into an ejection, and he missed the rest of the game. And like I was saying earlier, now this guy was fighting for just a spot on this team, practice squad, 53-man roster, any kind of opportunity to work on special teams. But he was expected, and he was in the game early on, and was going to get a lot of playing time tonight. But that was just a massive, massive mistake from him, and interested to see what Todd Bowles is saying right now. He's in his presser or just recently wrapped up, but interested to get what he had to say and what his reaction was to that incident there, because Shiloh, someone that is a big-time fan favorite. I know a lot of you guys here are following this YouTube channel just to kind of keep up to date with what's going on with him. He's got a big fan base behind him as well. As we know, the son of Deion Sanders, he's got his brother Shador Sanders with a lot going on over in Cleveland. But for it to be in your final game here in the preseason, a massive opportunity for him to make plays. He almost came away with a pick six earlier in practice this week. So I'm sure he was looking forward to hopefully making some plays and making strides and trying to impress this Buccaneers coaching staff to stay on this team. But that's just not the case. I don't know what the future holds for Shiloh. Very interested to see what Todd Bowles and company end up doing to make a decision there for them. Now, there are some other players that we're keeping a close eye on, like I was just mentioning, Tej Johnson. I think the perk of himself, his talents, it's also in the special teams. That's a good thing that he brings to the table outside of just being a wide receiver. I thought he made some really good moves, too. Like I said, 8 for 8 on the night. This was a really good night for Tej Johnson, and also, too, in the return game as well, showing his speed. Cameron Johnson, too, is one that had a really rough start to the night, but ended up finishing strong there. A guy that's kind of still in that same realm of Tej Johnson, a gadgety guy, but, I think those two are competing in that same spot of a special teams and a potential gadget player for you on offense. But Tej Johnson won the night overall. Cameron Johnson had two bad drops. One would have been a touchdown as well, but like I said, he did try to make up for it there in the latter half of the game. But whenever you drop touchdowns like that, that doesn't help you one bit at all. Sorry, guys. Trying to bring out my notes here. Let me see. If you guys have any questions or topics or anything, throw them down into the chat. I thought Elijah Roberts, the rookie from SMU, had a really nice night. He recorded a sack in this game. He was really disrupted, causing the quarterback to run out of the pocket, bringing pressure. And I thought he looked really nice. And he's someone, too, that impressed us throughout training camp. He was dominating guys on the offensive line, and that's something that we talked about in our instant reactions after training camp practices. We're like, whoa, what's going on with this offensive line, man? They're having struggles against rookies, and Elijah Roberts came in and he put on a show here a little bit tonight, and that's someone to keep an eye on going into this upcoming season, of someone that can hopefully maybe get into a rotation and help out behind, Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea, Logan Hall, and a few other of those guys. Like I said, Cameron Johnson had a really nice play there, 57 yards on a big play. Kyle Trask was your starting quarterback tonight. He went 13 of 17, 93 yards and 1 touchdown. He had a 108.2 QBR on the night. Josh Williams, there's a comment on here about him from our guy David on YouTube. Josh Williams looks really good. I thought so too. It was really tough. Like I said earlier, the blocking was not great up front. Guys weren't being physical. They weren't able to open up a whole ton of holes for these guys, but Josh Williams did have some of his moments as well, and they were using him at kick return throughout the night. It gets interesting. We were talking about it in the press box this evening, but you look at your running back room. Of course, you've got Buck Irving, your starter there, but then over to behind him is Rachaad White. The staff feels very strongly about Sean Tucker. I think the rest of the fan base too, like you guys, I think you feel really strongly about Sean Tucker, but who behind him is going to be a guy that, potentially, is able to get into this practice squad, 53-man roster, just depending on what the Buccaneers are intending on doing. But this is a loaded running back room, and it's pretty impressive. So interested to see what Grizzard likes to do. We also had Josh Grizzard. So in the first 2 games, he was on the field calling plays. At the first half of this game, though, he was up in the press box, or up in the coach's box, calling from up there. And then we saw in the second half, he went back down to the sideline and was calling from there as well. I think that's what you're going to see moving forward into the regular season. You'll see Josh Grizzard there on the field. He told Josh Grizzard told, I believe it was Pewter Report, in an interview that he did, that it's good for him to be down on the field. He can communicate with Todd Bowles more. He can be there with players. He can speak with Baker Mayfield immediately after plays, good or bad, and they can run through some things. So I think you will see Josh Grizzard on the field, but really interested to see y'all's takes. Throw it down in the comments or comments or the live chat about Josh Grizzard. What are y'all's thoughts on the plays being called? Of course, yes, it's preseason. You're not going to see some crazy extravagant stuff, and you also didn't see all of your starters as well. But I don't think you see much of a crazy difference from what you had with Liam Cohen over there now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christopher Cole talking about Trey Palmer here. Palmer did not help himself. I mean, there was some times where you saw early on in his career here in Tampa, make some flash plays, but there just hasn't been much. And even with the loss of Jalen McMillan, you don't know how much longer the wait time will be for Chris Godwin. Things, there was chances for some of these guys to step up. Now, Trey Palmer also, too, was limited in a good amount of the training camp as well. So that also isn't helping him whatsoever. David here on YouTube saying Grizzard looks good. I think he will be fine. And I think, we heard from this coaching staff, not really the coaching staff, but the players. It's Josh Grizzard's. It's like Liam Cohen's offense, but with a wrinkle of Grizzard in there. I mean, I think for the most part, I want to see deep shot plays. It'll be interesting to see how that looks going into the early parts of the season. How many shots are they taking deep? In training camp, we didn't see a whole ton of that. We did see, what was it, Tuesday? Might have been, it was actually Wednesday. No, it was Thursday's practice, where Baker Mayfield took multiple shots deep to Mike Evans, also to Tej Johnson. So, but during training camp, there wasn't a whole ton of that. We did see a deep shot to Bucky Irving, though, and Bucky told us on Thursday that he's ready to go one-on-one with anybody after scoring that touchdown earlier on in the preseason. But the Bucs are pretty loaded offensively. They're hoping to get back Chris Godwin. We don't know the exact timetable for that. They took him off IR. They feel optimistic that he is going to hopefully. I personally don't know if we're going to see him before. I don't know if we're going to see him in September. I think you'd have a better chance of getting Tristan Wirfs in some timeline in September. We actually saw Tristan Wirfs. I saw him out here on the sideline in pregame. And he didn't have any crutches on. He just had a sleeve down his leg. I'm sure he's working really hard on recovery there. But I think I'd put my betting money on Tristan returning faster than Chris Godwin. Now, I did see Chris Godwin at practice on Thursday. He was walking fine. There's no brace. There's no sleeve on. He's walking perfectly fine. But that's a lot different than coming out here on the field. And you got guys hauling ass after you and trying to make some moves. As definitely at a wide receiver position. We got David on here. Tez made the 53 for sure tonight, and I think he's going to be part of the offense. Yeah, and really intrigued to see how he is utilized in this offense. We got a little, obviously tonight, got a good glimpse of it. But like I was saying earlier, Grizzard's not going to show you a whole ton of things, and the way that his role will change immensely is whenever these starters get in here with your top guys like K-Dot and Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka. We did not have Emeka Egbuka out there tonight. I think all Bucs fans are fine with that. It was a little scary in the first preseason game when you saw Emeka Egbuka out there returning punts. I think that a little nerve-wracking for everybody, but he was not out here participating, and they feel really strongly about this young man. If there's a major takeaway from this preseason for the Bucs, Emeka Egbuka is the real deal. I mean, I think you guys are going to be really excited for what Baker Mayfield has as another weapon to this offense. I mean, we also saw Bucky Irving, man, like I was saying earlier, making snags on fade routes. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you've got receivers galore all around you. I know we're going to wait on Jalen McMillan. That injury he suffered up in Pittsburgh in preseason game 2 last week was just, tough scenes. Teddy Bridgewater, not the greatest ball to go there. We also did not see Teddy Bridgewater tonight, guys, dealing with an illness. I really wish we would have seen Teddy Bridgewater out here, but I also not sure if I really would want to see another hospital ball thrown out there. I think Kyle Trask is currently your QB too, and then there's JCL.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Give me your biggest takeaways from preseason overall, because we just practically went over the whole game. But preseason overall to you for the Bucs.
I will say I am concerned about the offensive line depth. That's something that's scary. Tej Johnson, he's here. He's elusive. He's fast. He's quick. He's going to be a great addition to the team. Really excited to see them put everything. I dropped my phone running over here. Really excited to see them put
Dedicated.
everything together with the full starters for more than 2 drives. And I saw a lot of good things from Josh Grizzard play calling, even though he was handcuffed with Kyle Trask, bad wide receivers, bad offensive line. The way he was calling plays, the sequences he was trying to get into, even though it didn't work out necessarily the way they wanted it to, I thought it was a really good showing from him. Thought it was really funny. Up in the booth today, comes down at halftime. Baker Mayfield says he's got FOMO. I asked him about that. He's like, I think I like it a little bit better down there. Not gonna lie, but it's the same. He feels comfortable with the people up there. I think he'll be calling plays on the sideline going forward. But yeah, we talked to Josh Williams. Really impressive. 2 big quick returns. Some of the Bucs haven't had in a long time. Is a guy who can return anything, kicks, punts, you name it. He showed up there. Almost had a touchdown right here. Almost had that touchdown. But then it goes to Tez Johnson, who does a flipping good job of getting in the end zone. And afterwards.
And the acrobatics, yeah.
Acrobatics, yeah.
What the hell, man?
That's a wrap on Bucs preseason, but I think there's a lot to look forward to for the regular season. I think the next 72 hours is going to be interesting with the cuts and the decisions they have to make, because there are some really difficult decisions. I thought some guys really made it a difficult job. Josh Williams being one, Rashad Wisdom being another one, playing nickel really well. Guys played safety for most of his career. Last 2 weeks he plays nickel. I thought he did really well. And again, we know, especially if you're on the back end, special teams, and the more you can do, versatility is going to help them. So overall, it's not a win, but I think it's a win for the Bucs because they really got a good look at some of these guys vying for those final spots on the roster.
Yeah. See, there it is. I mean, I was talking to them earlier on here as well. The offensive line, like you were talking on, not that it's your starting offensive line, but you're also going to lose Tristan Wirfs to begin the season. But throughout training camp, I mean, this defensive line was getting into it. I mean, they were getting back there. They were causing havoc throughout
Elijah
the inside.
Roberts, he got a...
Talked about, we gave some Elijah Roberts love on here, and he's the one that was talked about all throughout training camp.
Jose Ramirez got a sack, and that's one of those battles.
Jose, we love Jose.
He's so much fun, but can he take that 5th spot? Or, again, is it something that the Bucs are going to use these preseason games, this game tonight, and say, hey, let's see what the waiver wire holds. And I think they're going to look there for maybe not for safety anymore. I've been saying safety for a while now, but with Rashad Wisdom being able to play nickel, much like that role that they wanted J.J. Roberts to play before he got hurt, a guy who's got that versatility. I mean, Roberts had a little bit more versatility to play outside corner and certainly more speed. But maybe they look at Wisdom and say, hey, maybe we're good at safety. Maybe we don't. But I think edge rusher, and I certainly think offensive line, especially tackle, is something they're going to look. Tyler McClellan, if you could cut someone mid-game, my God, he did not have a good game. And Elijah Klein, who you're really counting on to kind of be that backup center, he struggled with Deion Walker a lot. Kentucky, rookie out of Kentucky, and he had a lot of buzz coming into the draft early on, and then kind of fizzled out. Ended up in the 5th round, I believe. But he had his way with Elijah Klein, bulldozed him a few times, and just that interior. Nobody to me really looked great. But again, you're dealing with, will Elijah Klein look better if he's next to Ben Bredeson and Cody Moak? Probably. So it kind of camouflages some of that a little bit. But I think the guys who needed to show up showed up, and the guys who didn't, Shiloh Sanders, you're probably
Shiloh,
and it wasn't for me. It wasn't just Shiloh Sanders. It wasn't just the swing. And I talked to one of the guys out there, and he left. He left.
He did, I did see Shiloh. He left. He had to bring a police officer with him, but it's probably because he's got to. If he starts leaving. But anyways, it just wasn't.
He didn't talk to anybody, and I talked to some of the guys, and some of the guys were like, "You should probably stay and talk about it." But with his last name, with all that, with the media around him.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't just that play, and always, like if someone's pushing at you, let them get the flag. Never let the temper get the best. But it was a defensive pass interference early in the game. It was a whiff over on the sideline over here that he had. It was a few other plays. It was
missed angles,
or the missed assignment on that 30-yard KJ Hamlin. He was supposed to take him as Bryce Hall took the underneath, and just miscommunication and lets the 30-yard reception that allowed that touchdown that happened on a few plays later. So tough night for Shiloh. We'll see if he can.
Did Todd say anything about Shiloh? in the presser?
I didn't. I wasn't in there.
Okay.
I was in the locker room trying to get some of
Okay.
these guys. But Garrett
Yeah.
Green, he looked good.
Garrett Green,
Talked to him
Shiloh's
today.
alum.
Tez Johnson, people were talking to him about backflips and certain twists and spins for about 20 minutes, but you know, he showed he wanted. I'd asked him what did he want to show, and does he think he showed it? And he said, you know, his elusiveness, his ability to make people miss, and certainly I think he showed that tonight.
Oh no, he did. And you know, one thing too as well is you don't have Chris Godwin to begin the season. And Emeka Egbuka has came and shown that he is the real deal.
He is.
And it's gonna be fun for him and Baker Mayfield to connect throughout the early parts of the season because it kind of clicked right away since Emeka, right, which was really nice. And he did
polished.
And see, that was the same thing a little bit with Jalen McMillan when he first arrived last year in camp, but there's just something different with this kid, man.
Yeah.
And that's something that should excite a lot of you guys. Definitely.
Polished.
And yeah, definitely once you have like almost 3 1s and if, like you're talking Jason Light.
If Godwin comes back by week 3,
you have
week
3
4,
1s.
like you got 3 number 1s, right? 1Bs or whatever you want to call them.
And that's the biggest thing.
And Ryan Miller.
I know. Hey, Ryan Miller, love.
He's a stud.
That's what I'm saying. You got Garrett Green over here, mossing guys,
exactly,
grabs.
you know,
the wide receiver room looks.
They're good.
Looks
good. Raheem Jarrett, it wasn't a great day for him. Cam Johnson had a nice return, but a couple drops.
Yeah.
So that wide receiver battle kind of shaking itself out. It looks like it's probably going to be because Chris Godwin will be on the active roster because he's not on PUP, so he can practice and everything. You're looking at Mike, Chris, Emeka, Shepard, Tez, and Ryan Miller right there. There's 6 wide receivers right there. Trey Palmer, he had 1 catch, but didn't really do enough, I don't think, to cement the spot on the roster. Maybe he comes back on the practice squad.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Tell you what, if Bucky Irving wants to move to wide receiver, he sure can. He showed us last week. He can do it.
Wilt Chamberlain, according to Todd Bowles. So.
No, the wide receiver corps. Baker Mayfield is just like licking his chops, man. I'm sure he's excited. He did not compete for the first time in a preseason game in his career. Didn't see Teddy Bridgewater. I was mentioning that earlier. I was saying I wish we could have seen Teddy Bridgewater play, but I don't really want to see another hospital ball throw, to be honest with you. So I'm completely fine maybe not seeing him play.
I think he'll be on the practice squad. It seems like the John Wolford route where they had, John Wolford was another coach in the room when Liam Cohen was here, or rather Dave Canales was here. It looks like they have to elevate him to the 53-man roster just to keep him around. I think that's the time of situation that they'll have Teddy Bridgewater in. Because they've talked about him like he's already on the roster all summer. It's going to be great for Baker Mayfield in the meeting rooms.
Yeah, the locker room, good leadership, all that kind of stuff.
3 preseason games, or what are we talking here? So I think he comes back on the practice squad.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's going to do it for the wrap up here from preseason game 3, 2-1 for the Bucs. And the preseason, the guys will be up in Atlanta. There's going to be a big-time showdown in the NFC South to begin the season. We'll be there. We're going to have some Bucs Game Day guys up there. We appreciate y'all watching here on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at. If you're on YouTube, smack the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well. And we will see you guys next week here on the YouTube channel. Peace.